Hello, it's Cherry here from Metabolic Balance in Australia. And I was going to talk to you about something completely different today that I'm now deciding to talk to you about. Because I've kind of decided to come on and talk a little bit about vulnerability. And this is something that's pretty personal for me, to be honest, because I think I'm very much a natural introvert. I'm not a great one for putting myself out there. And so, but this whole time at the moment with the coronavirus and things shutting down and people staying home, I think it's really shown that a lot of us are incredibly vulnerable. And it's not really a very nice feeling to feel like that. One of the things that I fear is what's going to be there when we come out of this. Are my favourite coffee shops going to be around? Are my favourite restaurants? What about all those lovely businesses that I adore? Are they still going to be there? And it's a very unsettling feeling to think about that. And so it's kind of something that I've really been dwelling on an awful lot and thinking about. The other thing about vulnerability at the moment is that this virus is incredibly non-judgmental. There's no guarantees from anyone about or anywhere that it's going to affect you or how badly it's going to affect you. I like to think that I'm a pretty healthy 47-year-old woman, that no real underlying issues going on, that I can probably fight it off. But we have all sorts of reports coming around that you never know. And the big thing that sort of comes back to me is taking that time to make your best chances, I suppose, is really what it is. Actually recognizing where you are vulnerable and actually making that choice to do something and create something for yourself. Do things differently, I think, is the real thing for me that's going on right now. And I think with what I do, I see the health changes all the time. And I've been doing my nutritional therapy practice for 10 years now. And I see the changes. And I think it's no longer that I can just sort of hide away and just not be out there telling people the difference you can have to your health by paying attention to what you're eating. So I've got to make myself vulnerable in this kind of way of putting myself out there an awful lot more. The times that we're in, they're just so uncertain. But by taking control of the parts of your life that you can control, and this is where I always come back to what you're eating and what you're doing in your day-to-day life. Because you can, for the most people, I mean, there's always going to be exceptions, but for most people, you can make that choice as to what you are going to have, if you're going to have breakfast, if you're going to have lunch, if you're going to have dinner, and what you're going to have at those different times. And it's taking that time to plan it as well, because sometimes we can't just do things off the hoof and do it really well. But it's kind of like just taking the little things. And I had all sorts of things in my mind that I was going to say when I was coming on today. And I think I'm just going with this idea that immune health and metabolic health is absolutely being just so highlighted right now. It also leads to mental health as well. So taking that, keeping your metabolism in the right place, keeping your gut health in the right place can totally lead to much, much stronger and more resilient mental health as well. So we could come out of this stronger and in a better place. We can just change the risk factors for ourselves. And I think it's even when you look about, there's no guarantees with anything that's going on for us. As in, are we going to leave our homes eventually and go out, and what are we going to find? And it's kind of like we don't know, but you can really take that chances for yourself and just make it right for yourself. So it's, yeah, slowing down, just as a lovely comment from Michaela here, slowing down and enjoying life again. Looking at what's important. And at the end of the day, health is everything. Health is, it doesn't matter how much money you have or how little money you've got. If you have a strong immune system, if you have a resilient metabolism, you can really move yourself into a great place. And I know that if I hadn't done the changes I did to my health 12 years ago, I would not be in this same place now. My whole family, we have got diabetes risks in the family. My uncle died in his early 60s from diabetes complications. Gut health is a massive thing in my family too, bowel cancer. And I think if I hadn't done the changes I did to my diet, I would be totally on that route to being really scared right now about being vulnerable to this virus that's around us. And although I'm definitely not saying there's any guarantees for my own health, I know that I can keep myself in a great place. So I just want to also sort of just put out there right now, what you eat every single minute of the day will influence your immune system. It will either be an inflammatory response or an anti-inflammatory or fairly neutral. We want to go for the neutral anti-inflammatory response going on with your food. So it's so important to find out what those inflammatory foods are. Or actually, probably turn it a bit on its head. Find out what your great foods are so that you know you can stay with those great foods. You can sit with them. You can absorb them. You can totally digest them beautifully and lead your body into great health. The other key thing to always consider, the minute you start eating right for your body is the minute your body starts to get well again. It changes that quickly. It really can be the most fast, effective, brilliant way of turning the corner of your health, changing your future, changing your risk factors, being there for your kids and your grandkids. I just recently did a beautiful testimonial with a client of mine who just spoke about doing metabolic balance was her time. It was her time to just be still and calm and create the health she needed so that she's now a more awesome mum, wife, sister, friend. She's in such a better place for herself. And it doesn't take much. It just takes great food, great water, the right eating times, the right portion times, the lack of additives and extra chemicals in your diet. So I would really love to encourage us all to sort of embrace the vulnerability in a good way. Embrace it as that chance to really change our future and see that we don't have to keep doing the same things. And when we come out of it, change is kind of going to be okay. Things will evolve. We are beautifully resilient creatures and we're incredibly inventive. So I'm kind of really trusting that all my favourite coffee shops and restaurants and businesses, they're going to evolve too and come out of this stronger or create something new is the other thing. There could be new things that we come out of with, new ways of doing things that I'm just really quite excited about as well. So I will leave you there. I really hope you found some of that useful. And I look forward to sharing this again with you next week because I am going to be doing these more often. Okay, thanks ever so much.